What is up, Nerd Nation? It's your boy Hunter from Film Nerd TV, and today is something different, something unique. We're doing Wrestling News Takedown, Episode 1. You know, I love my film, I love my movies, but I'm also a die-hard wrestling fan, and I'm joined by another die-hard wrestling fan, Alex Warren. How's it going, man?
It feels good to finally get on a talk show here on Film Nerd TV, and it's in the subject that, honestly, as much as I love movies, I can talk my ass off about wrestling for a week straight, and you still wouldn't be able to stop me. So I am very happy to be here, and I am happy because we've got a lot to talk about. It's the end of the year, but that means things are just heating up in the world of pro wrestling, and boy, do we got some good stuff to talk about tonight.
Oh, yes, we do. So we have these broken up into different segments. Right now we have the WWE news, our New Japan news, and our Ring of Honor news. And since Clash of Champions is Sunday, at the very end, we're going over the card of Clash of Champions and giving our overall predictions of who we think is going to walk out as champion. So let's start with our WWE news. And one that's really heartbreaking, because I do like this cruiserweight, Rich Swann was arrested, was it 2 nights ago?
Saturday night, arrested for battery and false imprisonment and kidnapping. He's since apparently been released from jail, but within 24 hours of the news breaking and the police report coming out, he has been indefinitely suspended from WWE.
Yeah, I mean, no dirt. I mean,
like,
that's kind of
it's a no-brainer for WWE to do, and as sad as it is for somebody who like Swann, who you see on TV, who's charismatic, who's fun, who's high energy, it's never indicative of who someone can be behind the scenes. And, well, let's face it, I'm not going to say the name. We all know who I'm talking about when I say, since the summer of 2007, anytime a domestic abuse issue comes up in WWE, no matter how small, they throw the hammer down on it. They do not want that to be part of their entertainment news. And honestly, I applaud WWE for making the right decision here, keeping Swann off TV, both for the sake of the company and for the sake of Rich. With what's going on in his personal life, whether or not anything's actually happening there, that's for a court to decide. That's for investigations to decide. It's got to be kept out of the public eye, though. And WWE getting Rich off TV and getting that news out as quick as they could is the best thing they could do in this case.
Yeah, I agree. It's more of, it's WWE standing like, we're not going to tolerate this shit anymore. And if you do something that, one, hurts the company and the business, and the second thing that's really criminal, like what Swann did,
yeah,
they're not going to tolerate it. So hopefully this is something where, like, it teaches the other superstars a lesson, and like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do, this shit. It probably won't, but it's probably a good step towards WWE for doing that.
Well, the thing is, too, we don't know the particulars of the Rich Swann situation. We don't know what exactly happened. We just know what he's being accused of and charged with. So right now, that's his personal life, and it's best to leave it as his personal life and hope the situation gets resolved and let the courts and the cops decide exactly what happened and what should be done, if anything is done. It's still early days, too. This only happened 2 days ago, so obviously news will come out as it comes out. But ultimately, it's best to just keep him out of the spotlight and try to make that distance between Rich Swann, the performer, and Rich Swann, the man who's in trouble, and let WWE just continue their business. It's kind of weird because now tonight we don't know what they're going to do for the #1 contendership for the Cruiserweight title.
It was him
versus
Gulak.
It's him. It was supposed to be him and Gulak. That was going to be a pretty decent match, but now what? We'll see. We can maybe talk about that in a bit, but right now, obviously, that's not a Rich Swann is not a priority for WWE, other than making sure people know they won't tolerate what he's done if he's actually done it. And until that's proven, let's let him deal with himself. And let's not let him have a platform on the business.
Yeah. So off of that sad news story, let's go into something more lighthearted, like a burying of a young WWE superstar.
Oh God.
So this past Friday night, I believe, in India.
Yep.
Triple H took on the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, in India, and from what I saw on the the WWE YouTube page. Triple H beat him handily, clean in the middle of the ring. Reports have saying that for people that was there, that the match was back and forth. It was a good match.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to feel about Triple H pretty much beating Jinder clean. I don't like Jinder as a character, but this dude is still, a young talent. He's got a lot of years going, and he just got beat by Triple H,
Yeah, I mean, I saw the footage that WWE provided on their Twitter and on the YouTube account after the match. Triple H did give Jinder a lot of praise as someone who can be part of the future of the company. And then they even had the Singh brothers come out and try to do the little dance with Triple H, and one of them got a pedigree for their trouble, because that's what Triple H does.
Yep.
But at the same time, yeah, the second they announced that Triple H was going to take on Jinder after he lost the title to AJ, something didn't feel right about that, because Triple H, he loves giving himself that spotlight, and he's only going to put someone over if he feels they are the next future star of the company. I don't think Jinder is quite at that point yet. He needs at least another year grooming himself as a heel before he can kind of get that echelon. There's still a lot of talk about him in a negative way of he came into back to the company last year because they needed to fill the roster. He gets that highlight spot at WrestleMania, and then a month later, he's the WWE champion when he wasn't even on the WrestleMania card. Like, what the hell? It felt so weird when it happened. And then him getting just routinely buried this last month between losing the belt and losing to AJ again, likely coming up this weekend, and then losing to Triple H in his home country. It just doesn't make sense for someone who the company sees as a future star. I think this is the company's way of easing Jinder back down the card a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. But at the same time, a loss to Triple H, unfortunately, still means a lot to people in the public eye. And it's going to probably have a bit of an impact on them. Oh,
yeah. And bringing back up the point you said of Triple H will my camera up. Triple H will let somebody go over him if he feels like they are the future. Look at Seth Rollins. Look at Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is an iffy subject because people don't like him, but you got to give it to him. So the thing with Jinder that I didn't personally like was I was excited when he won the title, to be honest, because I was like, oh, this is new blood coming in. But then they really just do what they did with Owens and he cannot defend the title himself. There's always interferences. And to me, that makes a champion look so weak.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's a heel. Because a champion, in my eyes, yes, they can cheat on occasions and find different ways to win, because that's what a heel's supposed to do. But when you always have that same match of they have a match and then the Singh brothers come out and then Jinder wins, it gets predictable, and it's why should I even watch another Jinder match, because I know how this match is going to end.
No, you're totally right. And that was his entire title run, and that's the sad part about it. They gave him Orton, they gave him Nakamura, and they gave him Styles a few times, and it never felt like Jinder was somebody who was an equal. It felt like he was the guy who was the step behind. And that's always a problem when you have that situation with a world champion. It happened to Seth Rollins in 2015. He wasn't ready. He could have been ready, but they had him wrapped up in the corporation.
Corporation?
Yeah. The authority. Sorry. It's the same freaking thing in WWE. They just won't admit it.
Sure.
And then the same thing happened with Sheamus very briefly afterward. They had him wrapped up in the League of Nations. And then Jinder is the perfect, and Kevin Owens, another great example. He had Jericho backing him up the entire time. What really killed me for Jinder, though, was the fact that at Hell in a Cell, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, where you could have a stipulation match to really show your stuff, they had him and Nakamura in what was going to be their final match, and it wasn't in the cell. Granted, neither man has ever done it before, but that's a perfect spotlight for those guys. And the fact that they wouldn't give him a cell match, that told the tale to me right away. It didn't help Jinder. It didn't help Nakamura. And it just cemented that Jinder's title run was fake. It was just a matter of, when are we going to pull the trigger on the next champion? And I think the real calling card was, when it came up to Survivor Series, the fact that they pulled the switch a week before Survivor Series and changed the main event of the show in singles, that's the ultimate sign that they've lost faith in Jinder. They don't trust his drawing power. They don't trust his abilities. He's going to need a year at least to rebuild that faith in the fans. I think he can do it. He's definitely done better with worse, three-man band.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's going to just take its time. And I think now we're starting to see that decline of Jinder as a main roster player, but he'll slowly start to peak it back up this time next year, potentially. We'll see. Now,
I wouldn't mind Jinder. I wouldn't mind Jinder going for the U.S. belt. I feel like that would be a good feud for him to do, and especially with the U.S. belt, you could go that route of. I don't like saying it, but go that route of Rusev when he had the U.S. title of being like, oh, I can beat all Americans, and this is my belt to prove it. That's a perfect belt for Jinder to begin with.
Yeah. Instead, they took it the wrong step, going right to the WWE Championship. As devalued as that field already, being in the main event of WrestleMania 31 and 32 to a mid-card match between Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton that needed projections above the ring to sell it at 33. And then a month later, it goes to Jinder with little to no fanfare other than fans going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And rolling it.
And to be fair, Jinder's a good wrestler. I'm not taking that away from him. He's a good wrestler.
He's one of the better big men in the business, yeah.
Yep. WWE doesn't know how to go with this story. They don't know how to build a champion correctly. And we've seen that before. Again, with Owens, with Sheamus, with all that stuff. They always want to make the heel have to cheat to win.
Yeah.
But a good heel will cheat when he has to, but he can always, if the Singh brothers weren't there, Jinder Mahal could win the match by himself and find ways to cheat to win.
But during his run, he never did, and that's been the entire problem. Maybe with a little bit of retooling.
Hell, they brought back the Great Khali.
Oh God, I forgot that because it was so stupid. Let alone the fact that they brought back the Punjabi prison match for him. Ugh.
I didn't mind that, to be honest, because the match itself, the match itself, I don't like, but it does kind of make sense with them going the Punjabi route for Jinder. Yeah. It did make sense, but the ending just completely ruined it.
Yeah. But no, Jinder, he's got all the potential in the world, especially on SmackDown, to become a big star and and he is one of the better big men in the business. He just needs time. And I think this is the time for them to finally start scaling him back, maybe build up to a program for him at Mania, something on the undercard that they can focus a light on him a little bit. But then after Mania next year, he takes a back seat to some other news talent with all the NXT call-ups and whatnot. But maybe finds his place in the mix. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. So, speaking of Sheamus, which we brought up here, I'm trying to see if I can find his tweet. Because apparently Sheamus is either close to retiring or he's going to be forced to retire, is what I heard.
I take that with a grain of salt. Sheamus the man, he is one of the big proponents of healthy lifestyle in WWE. I mean, a lot of people ragged on him early in his career because he was Triple H's workout buddy, and that's why people think he got the spot he did early on in his WWE run. But he's barely ever missed any time injured. The most time he's ever missed on WWE television was when he made the comeback with the Mohawk. He'd been off for a few months filming Ninja Turtles 2 with Michael Bay and Platinum Dunes and those guys. He's never really missed much time due to injury. He's always kept himself healthy. I mean, for God's sake, Cesaro looks like a bionic man compared to Sheamus. Sheamus is just one of those guys that the style he works for him, and he keeps clean and he keeps healthy. It may just be the age and wear and tear in that case, but I would take that with a grain of salt.
No, they actually said that Sheamus is out. Because he wasn't there last week, and they said because he was on vacation or whatever. The actual reason is because he's rehabbing, let me see if I can get this right, spinal stenosis?
Stenosis?
Yeah. Which, as you guys know, that took out the career of Steve Austin and Edge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he does have that serious injury, maybe it's time for him to retire because you don't know how long it's going to be before his neck gives out on him.
Yeah, and with WWE's history of caring for wrestlers with spinal and neck injuries and head injuries, if that's the case, yeah, I think it's what's best for him. But until there's an official prognosis, I would just go on the back burner on that one. least the good thing is with Sheamus in his career right now, he's at a point where he's in a very popular and very successful tag team with Cesaro. And no pun intended, the Swiss Superman can do a lot of the heavy lifting for them. And Sheamus is good for the big man spots, which don't really do much impact-wise. So, yeah, if he is that hurt, obviously it's going to suck. But until there's an official prognosis, I would take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, and that one was reported by Dave Meltzer, so I'm not sure.
Oh, no, then you take it with an entire salt block.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I don't trust Meltzer.
Oh, you don't?
No, I'm not a Meltzer fan at all. We can get into that at a later time in an opinions talk, though. Speaking of big men, though, there was a piece of news that broke, I think maybe about an hour before we were set to air. Tonight's Raw, for those who are going to watch, there's been a stipulation added to the main event. It's going to be Braun Strowman versus Kane, again. However, the winner is #1 contender to the Universal title against Brock at the Royal Rumble. That, to me, is a huge piece of news because let's say it. If Kane wins, you take out one of the stalwarts of the Rumble, one of the guys who's been in it so many times. But when Strowman wins, you're giving him a huge spotlight as a main event player, someone they've been trying to build these last 6 months, giving him another shot at Brock. But you're also taking him out of the Rumble, which leaves that Rumble wide open. Because if Strowman's in it this year, he's got the best odds out of anybody, story and physical-wise. If he's fighting Brock straight up for the title at that show, the Rumble's just become wide open.
See, I would much rather see Strowman go up against Brock because I feel like they should have gave him the belt at SummerSlam. They didn't pull the trigger. But I do agree with, like, the Rumble does feel kind of wide open without Strowman there. But I go back to the Royal Rumble has always had great one-on-one title matches. If you go back to this year, 2017, AJ versus Cena for the title.
Yeah.
Fan-fucking-tastic. And we've already seen that Lesnar and Strowman can have a great big man versus big man match that's really exciting and real fast-paced and real fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Now imagine that on the Royal Rumble stage, the big stage.
Yeah.
For the title, I want to see that, and I hope they give the belt to Strowman. He's worked so hard for this belt, and that Brock is not taking a backseat to anybody if he loses his belt.
Well,
he's good.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see it for the sake of getting another Strowman-Lesnar match. The interaction they had during that 4-way at SummerSlam was amazing, and their one-on-one match the month later at No Mercy, like, that's, honestly, I'd put that as a match of the year candidate. That was really intense and just an awesome WWE match. I mean, It's not an overall match of the year candidate, but WWE match of the year, definitely.
Yeah.
And like you said, giving them the big stage to do it, one of the big 4, big 5 pay-per-views, whatever they're calling them now.
I think it's big 4.
Totally. Well, it's totally deserved, though. Strowman's worked his ass off. If he's not going to be getting the title shot at Mania, he should be getting the shot at Rumble to give him that spotlight going into Mania. I think WWE is still, of course, stuck on the plan. They called it last year. Roman versus Brock in New Orleans. The two in 23-2, going one-on-one for the title. It's Vince's wet dream. He's sitting there shaking in his seat every time he thinks of it. But it would be poignant if that's the case. If they do it in the town that Undertaker's downfall started in. It makes sense story-wise.
Please, no.
I think, though, if you want to build Strowman effectively, you have him lose to Brock. You have him lose clean, but after a 20-minute slugfest.
That's pretty much
you feed
what
him.
They've been doing with him the past times.
And then look back at what happened at Survivor Series. He stood toe-to-toe against all of Team SmackDown alongside Triple H. They stood victorious at the end, and then Strowman beat the shit out of him. I think that sets up his WrestleMania card. I think he goes up against Triple H.
See, that's probably what they're going to do. I don't want them to do that, but...
Oh, I don't want it either. I want Triple H against Kurt Angle at Mania.
I do too.
I want it as well. But the thing is, I think if you want to legitimize Strowman to the hardcore to the casual fans and the people who are going to tune in and buy his merch, then Triple H is the best guy for it. We brought the point up earlier with Jinder. Him losing to Triple H was a step down to prove that he's not the guy they want. Strowman is the guy they want. They want Strowman as a long-term potential opponent for Roman, for Cena, for Seth, for Styles. They want him to be in that scene. And he's a younger guy than all of that group. He's got some good years in him. So I think Triple H is the best foil for him possible at Mania. If they're going to go that route, I actually would want to see, I'd actually not be mad at it.
See, like, the one thing that does, and we probably know it's going to happen, is Reigns versus Brock. They had a good match at 31, but it had to be saved by Seth Rollins. And they said themselves, the reason they had Rollins cash in was because nobody was going to take Reigns as champion. No one was going to like it. So they had Rollins come out to save the event, save the main event. But a good match would be, you know, if you make Strowman the champion at the Rumble, or hell, you keep him off of the Rumble, you know, out of the World Title match, put him in the Rumble, have him win the Rumble, and then go to WrestleMania and face whoever the champion is after that.
Yeah, I still just honestly, my thoughts for the Rumble is that the Rumble again this year is won by a SmackDown guy, and it's because I think SmackDown needs that extra little boost to the main event. As much as they've been great this past year and the talent's been great, they're being still seen as the B show. So having their Rumble them get the Rumble winner and then the Rumble winner against their champ at Mania as a spotlight match, I think that'll help them a bit more in this case, especially if it's AJ versus Nakamura.
So you're saying you have Nakamura win the Rumble, go on to Mania to fight
against AJ? I don't think anyone's going to argue that's not a good pick.
No,
I think
not
it's
at all.
Impossible. Nakamura's trajectory right now is that he's kind of in a lucid part of the mid card, similar to Orton last year, Reigns the year before that. He's kind of just floating up and down between tag matches and high-profile singles, but the Rumble can be his come-out party. The Rumble can be him just going in a mid-20 spot, get a few good eliminations, get a win by hitting someone with the Kinshasa to knock him over the top rope.
Top rope? Yes.
And then standing tall at the end of the night as the new first Japanese Rumble winner, actually Japanese Rumble winner. We don't count Yokozuna.
Hey, smelling.
And then him versus AJ, getting the promise of their rematch at WrestleMania in front of 70,000 plus in New Orleans. That's a match WWE can build to anybody, and it'll sell.
Yeah.
In addition to what else they've got planned on the card.
And yeah, I've always said if you do AJ and Nakamura, it's got to be on WrestleMania.
I think they're pulling the trigger on it. I think they're pulling the trigger on it.
Either do it at SummerSlam, because we've seen the past few years, SummerSlam has been used to do dream matches, AJ and Cena. So you can save it for Survivor Series or save it for Mania, the big stage of Mania. Either way, I want to see AJ Nakamura one-on-one for the belt. That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to see it this year. Anyway, on to another topic. Speaking of Raw tonight, last week we got a video package, and this week, supposedly in Ring, we will get the debut of Woken Matt Hardy.
Woken.
Well, the whole thing is, I love this. It should have happened when he came back. And the second Jeff got injured, it should have happened then. But it's happening. The legal drama's been set aside. Anthem does not want to bother fighting Matt over the Broken Universe trademark. Yeah. In a month, he'll finally start calling himself Broken once that's all settled. But having him here now in character and already going against Bray, this is just madness. I mean,
good madness.
This is good madness. They said it. Matt and Bray have even been perfectly poignant about it. A year ago, they were teasing that the Wyatts would show up at the final at Total Nonstop Deletion at the compound. A year later, Matt's in WWE and he's broken, and it's awesome.
And then they even had the same style of the final deletion, and then WWE did their version of it.
Yeah. But the thing that I love the most about it is a lot of people said the problem was that Vince didn't want to go forward with the Broken character and the Broken Universe because he didn't think it could sell. This video of Matt and Bray's exchange, the clip from Raw, was trending on YouTube for 48 hours after it aired, aired on the channel. It was it's currently already tracking to be one of the highest viewed videos on WWE's YouTube channel. Matt is a viral star. He's been a viral star since the mid-2000s with the whole Edge Lita situation. He's a master at manipulating the internet to show off what he can do. And this is going to take it to a whole new level because now he's got the WWE audience. This isn't just TNA and their small, dedicated legion of fans. This is millions worldwide who watch every week. They're going to see Broken Matt, and they're going to be like, what is this about? They'll go back through the library. They'll go back through seeing what he's done, and they're going to get it like that. It's going to be awesome.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Delightful.
Dude, like, I didn't watch that Raw. I don't have cable, so I usually go back and watch the clips on YouTube. I saw that, immediately clicked on it, watched it five times in a row. The exchange, and especially how they seamlessly go from one to another. It's not just, oh, cut here, cut here. No, it's like, all right, so Bray will talk, and then it'll fuzz out, and then like Matt Hardy's there, like interrupting the segment, and it's so good, so good.
It's the beauty of Matt's brilliance and WWE's production budget.
Yep.
That's what's going to be so good about this is that Matt gets the creative control, which is all he's ever really wanted, but he's got WWE's staff of writers, WWE's production value, their cameras, the global broadcast. This is going to take Broken Matt to a whole new level. And when Jeff comes back, oh my God. That's going to be something even better.
I knew you'd come.
The first time he calls Brother Nero, I'm going to just die. I'm going to die. It's going to be so good.
I wonder if we'll actually see, like, I know people are iffy about this match, but with Broken Matt Hardy, I wonder if we'll see, like, the House of Horrors type match come back. Bray Wyatt versus Broken Matt Hardy.
That would be interesting if they want to wait to post-Mania to do that. Because I think that would be something really special. If they can somehow do some sort of weird split dimension thing where they start at in the ring and then suddenly they're at the Wyatt compound, but then suddenly they're at the Hardy house in the backyard ring.
Vanguard 1 comes back.
Skarsgård, the dilapidated boat.
We see
that was so bad. So good.
The butler, what's his name? I forgot his name.
Oh, I don't remember. But Senior Benjamin, Matt's father-in-law.
That's what I was talking about. Yes.
His father-in-law, the gardener.
Yes. And then we see dude, I want to see his son come in.
Maxwell? Oh God.
Yeah. King
finally debut him and Wolfie as a team.
Yes. And he beats like some nobody jobber. He just lays him on top of him.
Oh. Well, no, that's even better because apparently at Starrcade, when they had that event in Greensboro a few weeks ago, Maxwell was out with Matt having that little fun segment with the Rock and Roll Express. And then Maxwell was standing there and just out of habit, because he's so used to doing it on the stage, he's standing next to his dad and he starts going,
Yes, dude.
There's so much with the Hardy universe that it's so good as it is, the Broken universe, but having WWE's money and budget to throw at it, it's going to be something spectacular. It's either going to be a spectacular failure or it's going to be the best thing the WWE's done in a decade.
Yeah, I just hope WWE lets Matt really have that control freedom that TNA gave him with his character.
That's the whole thing. There's already been that news that Vince has assured him 100% creative freedom as long as any merch money comes to us and you get your fair cut.
Okay,
that's all Matt cares about. He's happy getting the merch cut as long as he keeps creative freedom. And if he ever leaves WWE, he takes Broken with him, and that WWE doesn't care.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's good that he guarantees that he keeps the Broken name if he ever leaves. But yeah, this news is super exciting. Hopefully, because everyone keeps talking about, like, when Matt was in TNA, Broken Matt. Like, me personally, I was like, I want to see the Broken Hardys versus the Wyatt family. I want to see Broken Matt take on Bray Wyatt.
Oh, that's what I want to see. And now we're getting it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's madness.
Yeah. Speaking of madness, another item, and you brought this up actually before the stream, and I've been trying to read up on it. WWE's got another two big pieces of cross-related MMA news. One, earlier last week, it was confirmed Conor McGregor for WrestleMania is a no-go. He's injured. He's trying to rehab some injuries, and Dana White doesn't want to miss out on his next money fight after the boxing issue, after what happened with boxing. But the more exciting news is that apparently Ronda Rousey's inked her deal. Whatever it may be, we known, thanks to some scoop footage from the training center, she's been training with Natty in the ring for Catch Wrestling. But apparently, it's official. She's going to be joining WWE. Are we going to get the Four Horsewomen Four Horsewomen match at WrestleMania? Are we going to get Charlotte v. Ronda? Are we going to get Stephanie v. Ronda?
That's what
the possibilities are endless.
That's what I feel like is going to happen to Mania. It's going to be Stephanie taking on Ronda. Because they kind of set that up at, what, 31?
They set it up at 31, but honestly, I think Stephanie has kind of found her niche and her place of being just the backstage authority figure who only comes out when she needs to make an exclamation point of being bad, and then getting her come up in some Mania in some form with Triple H. Like, she's done that the past 2 years, and it's kind of 3 years, and it's worked well.
I feel like this could be a different stay, though. Like, Ronda comes down and is like, I'm not taking any of your bullshit anymore, and then she challenged her to Mania, and then she kicks the shit out of Stephanie.
What I'd like to see, personally, is save that for SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And at WrestleMania, have Ronda v. Charlotte. Have the perfect WWE women's wrestler, the first ever WWE women's Grand Slam champ, going up against the most dominant female athlete in combat sports of the last century. That would be something special. And you can have the horsewomen for each of them backing them up in some form. I think that is the money match for Mania, for the women's division. No matter who's the champs on either show. No discredit to the champs on either show, but Charlotte v. Ronda has pay-per-view money written all over it.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, they could set it up using like the Four Horsewomen versus Four Horsewomen leader type thing, and it could work. And I feel like if you move Steph versus Ronda at SummerSlam, that makes it even more better because you're in an LA crowd, hyper crowd.
Oh, yeah.
They're ready. And I feel like this is a time where, because the problem I have with the Stephanie Authority character is he, degrades everybody, makes everybody look dumb, and then she doesn't really get, payback. She doesn't really get her come up.
She gets her annual comeuppance at WrestleMania when someone who her husband's fighting hits her or forces Triple H to hit her by accident is really all it is.
That's like, accident, or it's something that happens.
It's a feel good moment is what it is.
Yeah, but it's not enough. I mean, she's really been putting down a lot of people the past year or so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel like it's enough. And if you bring Ronda in to kick her ass at SummerSlam, just enough to be, okay, I'll accept this now.
Yeah.
All right. That's all of the WWE news I have. Let's go on to... Or do you have another?
I was going to say, let's actually quickly jump into Ring of Honor because with all of this going on in the world of wrestling, I think a lot of people have forgotten that this weekend, this Friday night, Star Wars weekend, it's ROH Final Battle 2017 from the Hammerstein Ballroom. It's going to be one hell of a show. I'll just quickly run down the card and we can go over some highlights. This ROH World Championship, we're going to have Cody versus Dalton Castle. That's going to be something good. Castle, he's been one of the most improved guys in ROH over the past few years. Cody, though, he's been a shot in the arm for Ring of Honor ever since he came in last year, at the end of last year, when he went on when he made his split from WWE and won in his singles run. We've got Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer versus the Briscoes in a New York street fight. Kenny King defending the TV title against Punishment Martinez, Shane Taylor, and Silas Young, a battle of young guns in ROH. It's going to be good. Jay Lethal versus Marty Scurll. That's going to be pretty ridiculous, no matter what the two of them put together. The Addiction's going to go up against War Machine. Come on. That's going to be sick. Daniels and Kazarian are going to be flipping in and out of the ring with every hit War Machine throws at them. It's going to be amazing. We're going to get Matt Taven versus Will Ospreay, another flip-heavy match.
I love Will Ospreay, man.
Oh, God. The Machine Guns against Beretta and Chucky T, the best friends. And then for the six-man tag titles, we've got Flip Gordon, Titan, and Dragon Lee against Adam Page and the Jackson Boys, the Young Bucks, a.k.a. in this case, the Hung Bucks. And yes, I love that name.
I do too.
I mean, out of those matches, I am legitimately hyped for Cody versus Dalton Castle. Like I just said, Dalton Castle's been one of those guys that, thanks to some other talents in ROH, he's been kind of flying under the radar for most of his career. But now it's his time to shine. And when he came out to confront Cody for that shot at the belt, it felt like he was finally stepping up. And you just look at his resume over the years, Dalton deserves this spot. He deserves that shot at ROH's biggest show of the year in front of that New York crowd. And against Cody, he's not going to get a better opponent in the Ring of Honor right now. Cody is amazing. And at the same time, yeah, we're going to get a bit of a nostalgia match with the Briscoes against Dreamer and Bully Ray. But that should still be interesting. The tag title match, though, that match between the Machine Guns and the Best Friends, Beretta and Chuck Taylor, two guys who really have put the work in the past couple of years again. They've really shown their stuff. Beretta in New Japan as part of the juniors, now weighing up. Taylor, he's been in the same boat. He's been flying up and down in weight, but he's finally found his niche. But the Machine Guns, I've been following those guys since their TNA debut back in 2006 as a team, and they are amazing. They can go against anybody of any size and put on a great match.
Yeah, and thing is, the last match I remember watching Dalton Castle in was the last world title match he had, which was him and Daniels from Supercard of Honor this year. And, dude, that was a great match. And Dalton really, Daniels being the ring general and being the veteran, he took Daniels to the limit in that match.
Yeah.
That was a very good showing from him. And I've always been impressed with the dude. I mean, especially with him and Silas Young, that rivalry they had going on for a little bit.
Yeah.
Was entertaining. It was they had some brutal street fight match. Dude, the dude is so charismatic, so entertaining. And Cody, again, being, really good at booking and really good at, having a mind for this business. It's going to be a great match. But the one I'm looking forward to, Addiction versus War Machine.
Oh, God.
Come on, man.
Like, the style of Daniels and Kazarian alone, it's such a clash of style. It's War Machine, the hardest hitting tag team in the business today, against Styles and Kazarian, Daniels and Kazarian, two guys who can fly, two guys who can ground you on the mat and wrestle you down. It's going to be such a weird dynamic in the ring between the two, but matches like that always work so well in Ring of Honor. And like I said, I'm expecting spots where Daniels and Kazarian are getting hit so hard that they're flying out of the ring in backflips and getting right back in and taking more. Mm-hmm. It's going to be something really ridiculous and awesome, and the Hammerstein crowd is going to help sell that. They love that kind of match.
Yeah, and what's cool is... sorry.
No, go ahead.
I've been a fan of War Machine ever since they were Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions back in, 2015?
Mm.
And the way that they, work off each other is so well. They're two big brutes, but if they have to, they will fly out of that ring. They will move so quick for big guys. And they took over New Japan's team division.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
This card, it's kind of sad that by the time of year they're able to get it, Ring of Honor's doing this on a weekend where everyone's going to be in the movie theater for the most part. But people, if you are watching and you have a chance to see ROH Final Battle this year, there's a lot on that card to make it worth seeing. I'm going to definitely take some time during the holidays, sit down and watch those matches. I'm really looking forward to this show. It's going to be something spectacular.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be catching it too, whether it's, whether I order the replay or just try to find separate matches. I'm definitely going to be watching that card. All right, so you want to go ahead and go into our New Japan news and the big one?
Oh, well, let's save the big one for last because this weekend, this whole last couple weeks in New Japan, it's been one of their kind of unsung better events of the year, the World Tag League 2017. Mm-hmm. And this year was no exception. We had some really random pairings, some really kind of not obvious, but good work together pairings. But it came down in the final two after the month of fighting to the team of Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, the Gorillas of Destiny, of course, representing the Bullet Club, going up against Evil and Sonata of Los Ingobernables. And Evil and Sonata got the win over them. They got the win over the two-time IWGP champs. I think this proves that they really do feel Evil and Sonata are a force to be reckoned with in New Japan, right up there with how they're treating Takahashi in the juniors division and how they're treating Naito as a main eventer. Like, LIJ has taken over this year, and between those two winning this tournament and Naito getting the main event at Wrestle Kingdom in a few weeks, LIJ is here to stay. They become a force in New Japan, and they're something that are going to be worth watching for a while.
Oh, yeah. And I was reading that this is the first time that – I'm not even going to try to attempt to say their name, so you're going to have to say it for me.
Just call them LIJ. It helps.
All right. LIJ has won a tag league tournament.
Yeah.
This is the first time ever, and it's with Evil and Sonata. These guys work so well off each other. Evil being like the pretty much the bigger guy of the group, but the dude can still – he's a good wrestler, and he, again, like with War Machine, they have no problem flying if they have to.
Yeah.
Sonata's the quicker pace, almost cruiserweight style, but it works. And give nothing away from the Guerrillas of Destiny. I love these guys, man. Just their brash attitude and the way they walk out with the NWO swagger walk.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything about these two teams is amazing.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad that this means we're not going to see Guerrillas of Destiny get another shot at the belts at Wrestle Kingdom against Killer Elite Squad, but LIJ deserves that spot just as much. Evil and Sonata have been putting in the work all year. Hell, Evil was right up there along with Bushi to get that potential title shot when they were teasing it earlier in the summer. So these guys deserve this spot just as much as anybody else in the company as a tag team. And I'm glad they're getting it, because as much as it kind of pains me to not see Bullet Club get that much representation at the upcoming Wrestle Kingdom show, Evil and Sonata put the work in. They deserve it. They've been great this year, and their performance in the tag league in that final on last night proved it. They are legit, the real deal in Japanese tag teams. Yeah,
and to be honest, I didn't get a chance to watch the tag league, so I'm going to have to go back and watch it somewhere. Yeah, but I'm definitely going to watch it.
I did happen to see the match. I saw it. We'll put it that way. Please don't do that. What I do, people. Order New Japan World. But it is a match worth watching. Like, Tongaloa and Tama Tonga, they are a great team. They're two guys who, honestly, in any other company, they wouldn't be getting this kind of shot, but they're proving why they deserve it. They work so well together, and it's not just because they're brothers. It's because they're two guys who mesh styles very well, but you get that same thing with Evil and Sonata, and that's why they got this spot, and they're going to put on one hell of a match at Wrestle Kingdom. I think that heavyweight tag title match is going to be one of those matches on the undercard that you come back to and you're like, oh, yeah, that match was on the card. That was a damn good one. Holy crap.
Yep. To me,
Wrestle Kingdom
it could be the Tanahashi Okada Wrestle Kingdom 10 match. People are like, oh, yeah, that match was on there. And that's a fucking good match, but it was overshined by AJ and Nakamura. Right?
We're gonna have a few matches at Wrestle Kingdom this year that could possibly do that, but we can maybe talk. We can get to that in a minute after we talk about the other news. So the main event match last night in World Tag League was a 6-man tag featuring Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks against Rocky Romero and Sho and Yo of Roppongi 3K. Kenny and the Bucks picking up the win, representing the Elite. Too sweet. But then afterward, he pops up on the Videotron, that alpha face of his, and before you know it, he's in the ring, and he beats the fuck out of Omega. Codebreaker, blows to the head with the elbow, and Jericho walks out with blood on his face, and it ain't his own.
That reaction Jericho got when he was standing in the ring behind Omega, I've never seen a Japanese crowd jump to their feet.
Oh, yeah. Like, I watched the video of the live reaction to Jericho's video at the last show when they first announced he was fighting Omega. That was a reaction. This was a building becoming unglued.
Yes.
This was the closest thing that you will get to a Japanese crowd completely starting a riot and losing their shit.
Yeah.
And the fact that Jericho went after him the way he did, like, this wasn't just angry Chris Jericho. This was Michaels v. Jericho, Chris Jericho. Personal vendetta, wanting to prove something. And he bloodied him. He beat the shit out of Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is one of the best in the business at selling, but man, Jericho put the strap to him. This was not pretty. If you have a chance, if you see it, this is something you probably would never expect you see from Chris Jericho, but you should see it. Because hopefully this is a telltale sign of what we're going to get in 3 weeks at Wrestle Kingdom. A Jericho who is unhinged, embracing Japanese strong style finally, and going for the throat. This is this is a Jericho I never knew I wanted, but now I fucking want it.
Yeah, and thing is, you know Jericho is a very good heel when he can take that crowd who is excited to see him. It's the first time he's back in Japan since '96.
Yeah.
And then turn that and make the Japanese audience fucking hate him. The roars of boos he got after he left with Okada's blow in his face. I have never seen a crowd turn that quick. Jericho's the master at doing that.
Oh, yeah. And the fact alone is this, a lot of people had already been hyped for Jericho versus Omega for the U.S. title at Wrestle Kingdom.
Now
this just made that the must-see match on the card.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of sad to say it's not going to have a shot at being the main event, but
it's coming to the co-main event, though.
It's going to steal the show.
Yep.
Is what it's going to do.
And
I pulled it up really quick. The card right now, as it is, we've got Killer Elite Squad versus Evil and Sonata of LIJ for the heavyweight tag belts.
Damn.
Suzuki versus Goto in a title versus hair match for the never openweight belt. That's ridiculous as it is. Cody is going to fight Kota Ibushi. If Cody retains on Friday against Dalton Castle, Cody versus Ibushi is for the ROH title. That's awesome.
Woo!
Sho and Yo of Roppongi 3K against the Young Bucks for the junior heavyweight titles. Tanahashi against Sling Blade Jay White, the returning Young Lion, for the IC title. That's pretty good. But then you've got a fatal four-way of all four factions. Marty Scurll from the club, Takahashi from LIJ, Kushida from Team New Japan, and Ospreay from Chaos going four-way for the junior heavyweight title. Dude, that is going to make Ricochet versus Ospreay look like two grandmas playing a bingo on a Sunday afternoon.
Hold on a minute. Going back to that match, Marty Scurll versus Will Ospreay at that past Japan show, was incredible.
Marty is an unsung hero. The dude knows how to work a crowd and work a ring.
Yes, he does.
Ospreay may get all the credit in the world for being the best aerial acrobatic wrestler in the world, but you need a guy like Marty to make it work, and Marty makes it work.
And the way he breaks his opponent's fingers makes me cringe every time.
But honestly, the main two card standouts of Wrestle Kingdom are going to be Jericho Omega for that U.S. title, and then Naito versus Okada. Finally getting their main event. The main event that was robbed from them 3 years ago by a fan vote, and now it finally matters.
What happened? I didn't hear about that one.
Okay. Little history lesson here, kids. 2014, in the build-up to Wrestle Kingdom 9, Wrestle Kingdom 8, I believe, sorry. Anyway, Naito had won that year's New Japan G1 Climax. He got the title shot at Wrestle Kingdom. He came out at Power Struggle in November after Tanahashi had already confirmed he'll be facing off against Nakamura for the IC title. He came in to confirm against Okada, I'm challenging you for the heavyweight belt. The crowd was dead. They did not care. They had lost so much faith in Naito as a wrestler that 3 days before Wrestle Kingdom, they announced the results of a fan vote for which of the two matches would be the main event of Wrestle Kingdom 8. And Nakamura versus Tanahashi for the IC title won by a 2-1 margin.
Wow.
So ever since then, that's been Naito's driving force in New Japan, is trying to prove that he is one of the top stars and proving that he's worthy of being that main event level talent. And he's finally getting the chance 3 years later.
See, that's
against
weird.
The man he should have had that match with.
That's weird because, to be honest, I just started watching New Japan. I think I started around 2015, to be honest. But it's weird because Naito has always been one of my favorites.
Yeah.
The dude is so charismatic, and the dude can work so well in the ring, and he tells a great story in the ring. That's the thing. He tells a perfect story against every opponent he goes against.
I'll give you a piece of advice. The best way you can catch up on New Japan and how they work and what the stories are, check out Showbuckle on YouTube. And this is for the folks at home too. Give him a look. Give him a subscribe. He does breakdown videos about the history of modern New Japan and the inner workings of New Japan. He goes by Showbuckle.
So that's the way it's spelled?
Yep, Showbuckle. He does a lot of great production videos. He actually got a shout out on the broadcast of Power Struggle from Kevin Kelly and Cyrus about how good his video on Naito was.
Wow. Okay,
yeah, he recently did one on the New Japan Young Lions program, which was really awesome to see. And honestly, though, his video on Naito breaks it down perfectly. Naito, his whole goal since 2014 has been proving, I'm a top star. I deserve the main event spot. I was supposed to have that, and Tanahashi took it from me. That's why all of his matches against Tanahashi have always been so personal. But now he's got his sights set on Okada, and he wants that spot. He wants to prove that he is better than the ace, and he is the top star. And this has me chills excited. Like Jericho Omega, for me, I want to see that match. I want to watch that match. Naito versus Okada, I want to be there for that match.
Mm-hmm.
This match is something that's going to be phenomenal.
And see what I call Okada the best wrestler of this year. Just the sheer matches that he's had.
Yeah.
But second for me is Naito. So to see both of those go head to head again, dude, Wrestle Kingdom looks stacked, and it does every year, but this looks like it could be the best one in years.
It's going to be the best one in years, definitely. And then speaking of predictions, let's go ahead and let's close off because, well, in addition to Final Battle on Friday night, WWE is bringing us their last pay-per-view show of the year with Clash of Champions, SmackDown exclusive this Sunday. Currently, there's only 5 matches on the card. Tomorrow night's SmackDown will probably add 1 or 2 more, though, just to pad out a 3-hour runtime. But they are a pretty damn good 5 matches when you look at them on paper. Starting off, we got Charlotte versus Natalya going one-on-one for the women's title in a lumberjack match. So all of the dynamics of the women's division around the ring with them, especially the new Riot Squad, there's going to be so many X factors in that match, it's not even funny.
All right, so who do you have in that match?
I got to say Charlotte in this one because I think they want to keep Charlotte looking strong right up through WrestleMania at this point. Having her lose the belt to Natty in a lumberjack match would not help her at all at this point. It wouldn't do Natty any favors either unless the plan was to have the cash-in happen right after. I think they might want to save that to a bit closer to Mania to free Charlotte up for Rousey, like I was saying earlier. Mm-hmm. So I think right now, though, Charlotte's just riding out the wave of being the Grand Slam champ and proving why she's one of the most dominant women in the business. So when Rousey's finally ready to go, Charlotte's looking great for it.
The thing, and I do agree with you, picking Charlotte to win, but you did bring up the Riot Squad being at ringside. So I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what if Charlotte retains, then the Riot Squad come in and beat her down, and the cash-in happens right after?
That could be interesting, but I wanted to see the cash-in happen at Survivor Series. That's the thing. The champ v champ match, I think, was going to be the perfect spot for it, and they just didn't want to pull the trigger on Carmella on that show. But I think they need to, now that Ellsworth's gone, they need to establish Carmella again as one of the better women in the company, one of the better talking women anyway. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good opportunity. I think, though, maybe they just wait a little bit earlier in 2018.
Yeah.
Maybe at Rumble, maybe at the pay-per-view before Mania, have it happen. Yeah. Have her go into the Mania as the champ, because they always like booking a green champ in Mania for some reason. But I just prefer to see that and let Charlotte look strong up until Mania.
I'm just saying, like, that way you're really upping 2 people. Charlotte doesn't really look bad because, you know, she's a Grand Slam champion.
Yeah.
She's free up. You're really setting up the Riot Squad as this dominant faction in the women's division, and you have a cash-in of a cunning champion who's waited so long with a contract, always teasing it.
Oh, yeah.
Finds her opportunity, bam, comes in and does it.
To me, this would be a good spot. This would be an okay and ultimately, yeah, it'd be a good spot for it. I just think it'd be better if it was waited until right before Mania when
Yeah.
Charlotte's set for the match with Rousey, and then all of a sudden the title's out of the picture, and Charlotte's like, I don't care. I'll get that belt back later. I want Rousey to prove that I'm the best. And that's
Yeah.
what I want to see that match be. Moving on the card, we've got a fatal 4-way tag team match for the tag belts. The Usos will defend against the New Day, of course, because New Day rocks.
Yeah.
Gable and Benjamin in the match, and
Intervals.
Aiden English and Rusev.
It's
Rusev Day! Honestly, that one, I see the Usos retaining. Jimmy and Jay this year, ever since last year when they turned heel, they have brought it to a whole new level. Like, since they turned heel, since they turned their backs on the fans and started embracing that tough mentality, I've been with that day one-ish. I love it. I want to see Jimmy and Jay hold these belts for a while. I want to see an NXT team come up and be the ones who beat them. Who knows who that could be? Maybe the Authors of Pain, maybe Sanity. Who knows what the plans are? But right now, Jimmy and Jay having them hold the belts for a long reign is what's best for the company, for the brand, and I want to see them retain. This though is going to be a good match because you got 4 different teams with 4 completely different styles. The New Day bring their own dynamic differences no matter what, because it's come down to who's going to fight for them. What 2 are going to get in the ring? You got so many different combinations with them. You've got Gable and Benjamin, who really are Team Angle 2.0 in the best way possible. They are so good together, and they've proven that these past couple of months. And then Aiden English and Rusev, they've proven to be such a weird combination,
but
they work.
Yeah.
They work so well. You wouldn't expect it, but they work so well. I want to see them do good. Maybe they could get the surprise here and get those belts just like Rhino and Slater last year.
I think it's a little too soon to push them, but I'm going my prediction is I'm going offbeat a little bit. I love the Usos, and I feel like now that they're kind of face run, I feel like it's going to work better for them considering they had that huge heel run, and the fans are really behind them because they always have great matches. I don't see the New Day getting it because I'm tired of them flipping the titles back and forth.
Yeah.
What I see is Gable and Jordan getting it.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you watch this past weeks, they're kind of turning Benjamin and Gable heel, targeting the knees, like really roughing up the Usos and really trying to play mind games for them. This is the perfect opportunity to be like, no, we're going to take the titles no matter what. Break the knees, whatever they want to, and they take the belts. Because now you set up this team that I feel like really works as a unit. As you said before, they're the world's greatest tag team 2.0, but that's a great thing. That's very good because we need more teams like that. Teams who, 1, have great chemistry, and 2, have the exact same style of wrestling almost. Sheldon has that high-flying, grappling style. But you get Chad Gable in that ring, he can wrestle. He can wrestle with the best of them.
No, I don't disagree with you there. Like, honestly, if either of those 2 teams walk out, that's going to be a good feud continuing forward. That's the feud I want to see SmackDown focus on in the tag division. And yeah, English and Rusev are going to be a great team for a while. Hopefully they keep that pairing together and let them continue to do good work. The New Day are the New Day. They're going to look good no matter what because they're entertaining as hell. They just do their thing, and that's what works for them. But you need a great feud to be the backbone of the tag division going into the new year, and we're going to get I think we will get that with the Usos and Benjamin and Gable. Whether they flip the dynamic of face heel, maybe it could work, but I think just as it is, it's a great feud because you got 2 teams who work so well together and mesh so well together in the ring. It's going to be something special to see them go one-on-one, and it's going to be hopefully something we get to see a lot.
And that's kind of something that you can go with in a fatal 4-way, is you can have the Usos lose the belt and not get pinned, and then they have that saying of, hey, you guys are supposed to be the best in the world. You didn't pin the Usos, and then you can set up that team rivalry going forward.
That would be, again, there's so many different ways to do it, I think, but ultimately, whoever walks out, it's going to be one of those 2 teams that walks out with the belts, and if it isn't, it's going to be a total shock and potentially a disappointment. Moving on, speaking of shocks and disappointments potentially, for the U.S. title, we've got a 3-man match, triple threat, Baron Corbin defending against Dolph Ziggler and Glorious Bobby Roode. I think this is the time they pull the trigger on Roode. He gets his first main roster gold. I think Corbin, it's kind of sad to see the way his year's gone, being pushed as a top guy on SmackDown with the IC title run with Ambrose, right to Money in the Bank, and then he hit that roadblock of John Cena.
Yep.
He hit that roadblock hard. He started pissing people off backstage. They took the briefcase away from him. They gave him the U.S. title just to maybe work something back in for him. But now Bobby Roode's here. Bobby Roode is going to be one of the top guys on SmackDown for as long as he wants to be there, and he proves it every week when he gets in the ring. So this is the time to put the gold around Bobby and let him have a good run in that mid-card while they're setting up things for Mania and the main event there, and then let Bobby come into that main event picture middle of next year and show why he was fast-tracked in NXT, because he is that damn good.
Yep. And I agree with you, too. I'm predicting Roode wins it, which he needs to, because, again, NXT champion gets called up and immediately wins the U.S. belt. That would be, hey, we have faith in you. This is why we're giving you this title because we have faith in you. And something that you brought up about Strowman versus Triple H, you could easily do Triple H versus Roode and have a good technical match and have Triple H put him over at Mania. Because they kind of set that up also at Survivor Series where they had them two, fighting for a little bit. And you could set that up and have Triple H put him over in a great match. Both really good technicians going at it, which a lot of people say that Roode is kind of like Triple H, in ring wise. But you could do something like that. And with the U.S. belt, man, he could do really good things with the belt.
Yeah. Moving on. Another funny thing. Speaking of former NXT champions who look good coming up to the main roster, there's a tag match on the card. Owens and Zayn will face off against Nakamura and Randy Orton. Shane McMahon is the special guest referee because of his whole thing with Owens and Zayn. And if Owens and Zayn lose, they are fired from WWE outright. Well, I think that's your spoiler right there. Owens and Zayn are going to win this match. They are not firing Owens and Zayn. If they were, there would have been so much news about it backstage. The big thing here is going to be who takes the fall. Who is responsible for helping them win? Because, as I said earlier, my belief is that Nakamura, he's going to play more of a passive role in this, as passive as Nakamura can be. Because I think he's going to pick to win the Rumble. So it's got to be Orton taking the fall. I think we're headed to a direction of a swerve. Either Shane is going to just finally be on their side, or, as people have said online,
he's going to cost him the match.
We're going to get a Daniel Bryan heel turn. We're going to see a heel GM with a face commissioner. Because Daniel Bryan, he's been kind of erring on the side of, I want Owens and Zayn in the ring. I want them to have these opportunities. They're two great workers. And Shane's been knocking them down because these two don't like the way Shane does business. So to have Daniel Bryan turn on them and join up with Owens and Zayn, I think that's a really interesting dynamic they could be exploring there.
If WWE would let him wrestle. They already said they're not letting him wrestle.
If they would let him wrestle. But even then, this could be a way to start to maybe tease that a bit so that when he leaves, or if he is cleared, which that could possibly be happening, it's still a good way to get Bryan involved in the story, but give us something we've never seen before. A heel GM running the show week to week with Shane, the uber face commissioner, kind of like looking over his shoulder like, what are you doing? Nothing, we're okay. Light this fucker on fire.
See, if you wanted to go the swerve, though, you have Nakamura pin someone like Zayn or Owens, but you could do something like, because they always say, oh, you're fired from WWE. You know what they're going to do. They always bring him back a year later or something.
Yeah.
Hell, they did that with Ric Flair 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah, they did it with Cena against Nexus, and it didn't even last 2 weeks.
But thing is, no. You have that last a few months. And maybe you do have it where maybe Owens and Zayn go somewhere else. Maybe they go to, New Japan, and they wrestle a few matches there. And you really kind of do what AJ did in TNA when his contract was up and he had the belt, and he went to New Japan. He defended the belt. What you do is you have him wrestle, and you show little snippets of like, oh, they went here now. And then it's just like, okay, what's happening here? because they already said they're tired of what WWE is doing and how Shane is booking them.
Yeah.
So you set that up of like, oh, we'll just leave. We'll go. Like, we have jobs everywhere. We have jobs in New Japan. We have jobs in Ring of Honor or whatever. And you set that up, and eventually when they return, you can do something like that. You can make a story out of that.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea, but I just think WWE wants to keep everything central to WWE. So the idea of having Daniel Bryan kind of turn against Shane and help those two get the win, even inadvertently, and start kind of playing it up like, oh, it was by accident, and then maybe build out that story later. I think that sets up a bit more of an interesting WWE dynamic.
Yeah.
If they were able to do the outside companies thing, holy God, yeah, that's a great idea. I just don't think that's actually in the cards for WWE right now because New Japan, Ring of Honor, they all want to go in a different direction than WWE. And some of the acquisitions they made kind of prove that.
Well, I mean, the only way I can see this working is if Bryan does get to fight Shane. Because while I like the Miz versus Bryan, fighting back and forth, they never did anything with it.
Yeah, it's because they couldn't.
I know. That's my problem. It's like you're setting up the stuff with Bryan while you know that he can't wrestle. Well, WWE's not letting him wrestle. He can wrestle anywhere else he wants, but like I want this to pay off if you're doing something like that.
Oh yeah. I think it will pay off, just maybe not in the way that people expect. But leave it at that. But then moving on, we got one more match on the card, the main event of the night. AJ defending the title against Jinder Mahal. AJ. We've said it through the night. AJ has earned this spot. Like, as much as people want to say Okada is the best wrestler, is the best in the world, as much as they want to say Jericho has proven it this year, as much as they want to say Omega, Naito, AJ's doing something that nobody really expected from him. He's 38, and he's doing a full-time WWE schedule and putting on great matches with anyone they put him up against. You put him up against Cena, he's putting on 5-star candidates. He gets the spot against Shane at WrestleMania in the opening match of the night.
He has the best match on the card.
He has the best match on the card and the best entrance just by using Mother Nature and the wind, for God's sakes. That face that runs the place with the hair that doesn't care. I love that. And then he goes on, he gets the title back from Jinder in a great match on SmackDown, given away for free and offshore in the UK, so that it's spoiled for everybody, and people still tune in to see it.
And then he has a great match against Lesnar.
Oh, he brings Lesnar to his limit. Brock, they said it after the match. Brock was backstage waiting for AJ to hug him and be like, dude, I did that for you. I let you kick out of the F5, for God's sakes. I don't do that for anybody. You were the man. Like, there's a reason AJ is the best in the business.
So wait, yeah, that's right. It did take 2 F5s to beat him.
Yep. One of few men who's ever taken 2 F5s for Brock to beat.
Yep. And if you notice, like, Lesnar, after the match, he looked over at AJ a little bit as, like, the sign of respect, like, okay.
Yep.
I see you.
He doesn't do that for anybody.
No.
He sure as hell won't do that for Roman at Mania.
Nope.
He'll be out of there running to the back going, where's my check?
Yeah.
But with AJ, you tip hat. You give him the tip. You give him the nod. The man is the best in the world, and he's proven it week in and week out.
Lesnar sold that calf killer better than anybody in WWE's ever sold it.
He sold it like his family was being tortured right in front of him. It was so perfect. That's what AJ does, though. He makes you respect him by how good he is. And that's just it. I'll expect him to get a good match out of Jinder. Like, their match on SmackDown a few weeks ago for the title was great. A pay-per-view match between the two, they might take it up a bit of a notch. But AJ should be the man holding the belt on SmackDown right now through Mania, maybe beyond, depending on how the build goes. But he's the man right now. And he is my vote for Wrestler of the Year. And he's proven it week in and week out with how good he is against anyone you bring him up against.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's the thing. Like, when I said Okada was Wrestler of 2017, the thing is, like, it's just match quality-wise. Whenever you see Okada, he's putting on 6-star matches, 5-star matches,
Yeah.
But AJ, man, he's had a great 2017. He was U.S. champion. He was WWE champion 2 times, which he won last year, I know, but
yeah.
I mean, he had a killer match against Shane. He was a standout. Him and Nakamura had the loudest standoff.
Yep.
At Money in the Bank. I mean, the dude is in my top wrestlers of 2017, but as of like someone who's only there on big occasions, like Okada,
yeah,
and whenever he shows up, he puts on 6-star matches, you know.
Oh, yeah, we can have the conversation for best of the year at another time. We still got a few weeks to decide that one,
Yep.
But at the same time, this weekend, like, people will probably look past Clash of Champions because, yeah, it's the last show of the year. It's 2 weeks before Christmas. No one's really paying attention to it, but people should be paying attention because it's going to help that little bit of setup towards the Rumble and the Road to Mania. And whoever comes out of this card with any titles or comes out with any wins, there are going to be some people who you want to keep an eye on going into that new season.
Mm-hmm. Same with Final Battle from Ring of Honor, too. Friday night. Yeah. You guys should be checking out Final Battle and Clash of Champions. This weekend looks epic when it comes to wrestling.
Oh, yeah. And if you have a chance, check out the finals of World Tag League, especially the main event and its aftermath. That is some must-see wrestling stuff right there.
The aftermath, and like I haven't watched the match yet. I'm going to go back later on tonight and watch it. The aftermath with Jericho, perfect. Heel move by Jericho. Oh, my God, dude. All right, I think that's where we're going to end it. We have any more news? I don't think so.
I think Raw's on the air right now, so if it's any news, it's probably going live right now.
Yep, and we'll probably catch on that next week.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, so if you enjoyed this episode of Wrestling News Takedown, episode 1, give this a like. Alex, you want to plug anything before we head out?
Of course, want to plug Full Metal Trivia, our show on YouTube. You can check us out on Facebook as well. And tomorrow night, here on Schmoes Bros in the WTS Wrestling League, we have the championship match. 2 members of Omega Club doing battle, brother against brother, myself versus Nico. That's going to be one hell of a fight, folks. I've been partially dreading it because I know what my last match with Nico was like. I beat him, but he put up one hell of a show. And I saw what he did to win the title. So now I know I got to bring my A game, and I will. You're going to see one hell of a fight tomorrow night.
Oh, hell yes, man. So tune in tomorrow for that huge WTS match. Hit that like button. Subscribe to Film Nerd TV. Check out Patreon. Patreon.com/FilmNerdTV. I'm Hunter. That's Alex. We're Film Nerds. We'll see you guys soon.